Sanibonani and welcome back to another episode of Tyhilana Let's Talk. Tyhilana, and today I'm joined by my two friends. They'll introduce themselves after we do the regular situations. Go on. So today the agenda on the menu is we are talking harassment and the loneliness that comes with being in the queer community in South Africa. And yeah, so another thing that we need to talk about before singing a claim is that we need a name, because I feel like we're building a community where, like, come on, and like, see community, guys, like, we're growing every single week. Thank you so much for the support. My voice is gone because I had a hectic weekend, but it is what it is. Come on. So anyways, we need a name. My suggestion is Osjabs. What is your suggestion, Sean?
I said Sips. Or Sips.
Sips. Okay,
Jimmy, I don't know. I feel like your name Ali Alive, but also on my Totoro, because I mean, like they often book it's like a TV, sound radio,
Okay, so again, we'll go back in any video. So you guys can comment in the comments section down below. Can you tweet me, DM me? My name is Tyhilana everywhere. You know. But anyways, what we're gonna do is they're gonna just introduce themselves, what they're passionate about, and what they identify as. So we'll start with Bavu.
Okay. So I am Bavu Lilitha, all the way from Queenstown, studying at UCT, very passionate about law, politics, and African literature. So pronouns that I'm comfortable with from like general people that aren't, really close to me would have to be your she, her, they, them. So he, him, his can only be used in circumstances where it's people that are very close to me, but gender non-binary is how I identify.
Hi everyone, I'm Lilitha Zibonda. I'm all the way from Port Elizabeth. I study at UCT doing theatre and performance, majoring in acting. I identify as gay and my pronouns are him, he, they, she, king, queen, sweetie.
Everything.
And more. Okay. So my pronouns. Okay, my name is Tyhilana, and that's how I go. And so my pronouns are. Okay, someone asked me to do it, get to know me, but I'm not doing that now. But anyways, I'm a UCT student. That's how I know these hands. So my pronouns are essentially he, him. What's the other one? Han. Yeah, I only have three. Like, I feel like no Papa.
Alibaba.
But tell me, where's my phone? Okay, here it is. So today we're going to be talking indoor. What is this? I have my phone here, so that's why I'm going to be looking down a little bit, because what we're talking about is very serious, But I didn't want to do like a fun one because basically fun anyways, but since and it's Pride Month, so I thought we should talk about the harassment that we experience as queer people, not just from the community, just generally as socially, like, do you know what I mean? And I chose the word harassment versus violence because I'm gonna go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia says, essentially, Wikipedia says harassment covers a wide range of behaviors of an offensive nature. It's commonly understood as behavior that demeans, humiliates, embarrasses a person and is characteristically identified by its unlikelihood in terms of social and moral reasonableness. So yeah, that's why we're doing this video. And then we're gonna go on to talk about the loneliness that we experience in the community, and that stems from the fact that we don't necessarily have a community that is fakasonke. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like a thing of we are under the LGBTQI plus spectrum. However, everyone identifies differently, and then there's sub communities and subcultures within the LGBTQI plus spectrum. It's not COVID. I'm sick. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. So the one thing that I really want to talk about is, so when I was growing up, I didn't necessarily know that I was queer, but I was always being told that I'm queer. I remember in grade 7, they opened like a WhatsApp group. Not a WhatsApp group, Sense Mixed at the time. So there was like Mixed City, and then I think I was dating someone at the time, and then a girlfriend. So they were talking about, at the time, Jason and Senzo and Generations on SBC1. So they were like, they believe that I'm queer, but then it was not something that I subscribed to at the time. Do you know what I mean? So it was always a thing of, like the girl that I was seeing, and then Senzo, because there's gays who don't necessarily have to like perform their femininity or their queerness, if you can put it that way. But then there was always an element of difference from the other guys and and for me, I believe that was harassment, because Galogu, number one, I am a child and I don't know what I identify as at the time. So jiggy people are telling me, you are this, you are this, you are this. So there could be some sort of harassment, but if you feel like it was violence, because I positioned this to my friend, it was harassment that is violent. Harassment is violence, if in the subtle ways that it comes in. But yeah, so what were your experiences of harassment in your different spheres? Maybe growing up, now, yeah.
So like for me personally, right, it's always been a thing of family and like very close communities surrounding the family. So it would always be a thing of, yes, we can see that you're feminine, but you still present masculine biologically. So it would always be a thing of you sort of being put into a corner and being judged because you're not performing that masculinity to the standards that the people want you to. So you would literally see malume, or even like abantu emcimbini, or other boys or other older men, and they would literally fondle you, and fondling you, fundle, and they would ask you about, I've never seen you horny, or I've never seen you erect, or why don't I ever see you peeing outside like the other boys, stuff like that. So that's a form of harassment, because one would immediately assume that it's molestation just like that. But because it comes from a queer experience, it then becomes more than molestation, because then it has that added layer of discrimination, internal homophobia, even for the offender probably. So
because even with me, like, because I had like, growing up I had my mom's body, so it was always a thing of I'm fast and I'm being groped.
You're being groped, and it's all sexual.
And you're just like demanding, and you understand. I'm sexual and you stop getting a lie, but it was a compliment.
You guys know.
But what was your experience?
It's so interesting how you guys mention the same thing, because I grew up very religious. So everything was so I was forcefully told to come out, basically. It was I didn't even know I was queer at that time, and with everybody saying I said, why are you so femme, you so gay, harassment. And from a religious section, it's so scary, because they always say this, and at the same time they say, hey, abomination, you go to hell. I remember my family, out of nowhere, out of the purple blue, they would just sit me down and look at me and say, him Nanam, you go to hell. Yes, that's what. And I didn't even know what queer means. I didn't even know any of that. So it was very scary that to come out forcefully also. Son.
And the thing is also, tying back to the whole part of loneliness, do you know, like, women, I'll say women, because I feel like there's a sense of womanhood when it comes to how experiencing some sort of violence or harassment. There's people that are there for you. Do you know what I mean? And even though like women can say, but some other women are problematic, say yes, they. But it's like a thing of, but at least you can always go back to them and your story is valid. You know what I mean? But then go see again, like to your women family, to your friends even. It's like a thing of like I'm not comfortable in Indians like so how do I express my. Do you feel like as a victim? Do you know what I mean? When they don't understand what it means, bana, like victimizer because of your sexuality, but it's a different type of harassment, it's a different type of victimization. And it's a very small community. You see community, so it's like a thing of I can't necessarily speak to all of my friends, maybe one or two, but about like because I have female friends who would be like, I understand why I'm telling queer because what if he is queer and do you get what I'm saying? So it's like a thing of I've always been like, there's this element of loneliness when it comes to being queer. But that's the whole victimization because we don't have a community because cookie subculture LGBT. You know what I mean? And then go plus as time grows and you start actualizing sexuality, still loneliness, but okay, go get age so surely you look there's some sort of manhood that you are part of. But then now this means manhood manhood to a but at the same time you don't necessarily subscribe to la recommendation. Do you know what I mean? So what loneliness being a broad term, what sort of loneliness would you say you've experienced in the queer community after actualizing and then realizing that you are actually queer, which I feel like we only actualize when we're older? And as well, if you may have a different experience of that.
For me, it's a thing of I you know how we can say there's the LGBTQIA community, but then like queer is literally packed like LG. So for me, I've always grappled with being called gay. I've always grappled being homosexual. I've always grappled with Indoba go to a queer, but queer was like that thing of this thing that is weird without really a definition, but we understand, but it's part of a minority group. So it's a thing of, because what I said was about I'm femme presenting at my core, it's a matter of I will appear as femme performing, femme acting, but also I will appear as really feminine, as like literally a cisgender heterosexual woman. So it's a matter of if I am able to have access to that sort of collective in terms of the term, but I still don't have that access because there's an element of queerness that comes like from that. And I can't even turn to queer people as well because it's a competition to be gay, guys.
It is
a competition to be gay, to be queer, to be in the community.
It's been such a rough patch even saying the word homosexuality. Because I felt like that every time I would even mention the word to myself or to anybody, I wouldn't have, as you said, people, a community to come to be like, it's fine, you're safe, you're well, we're here for you and things like that. So it is such an extreme lonely path, and growing up, loneliness. Varsity, it's loneliness. It's weird. It's dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
Because that's when the whole mental health situation comes in. Because depression will get knees. And it also comes from. I also feel like but as much as we are all queer, do you know what I mean? I'll use the word queer, but then we all have just different experiences of what it means to be queer. But for example, you're more femme presenting, right? So that puts you in a different situation. Do you get what I'm saying? And now again, you can't come to me because I don't understand that. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't understand that. Same way, I feel like when you come from more of a religious perspective, now I'll be like, I fuck religion. Do you know what I mean? But then at the same time, you can, you choose. So like but then because religion is something that you hold dear to you, it's like a thing of you can't come to me either. So that already isolates you from our friendship. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like a thing of I've been grappling with mask for mask because sometimes if nobody femme, sometimes I phone by femme. Like I'm always
just wanna be.
Do you know what I mean? Like
you're always
there box or twin, or you don't are you straight acting or you don't know, and it's so like look what is it Joe? I always send a message by way to don't be. So there's straight acting to the end. Come to the beach until you're drunk. Then I so they see what I mean. So I think this is gonna be longer than. Do you have anything more to say?
This is really interesting.
No, we were talking. You carry on talking what you're saying.
I'm done now.
We're talking. Okay.
I shared what we needed. I felt. So, Nina, do you want to add anything to the conversation to harassment and loneliness?
Do I want to add? I'm not sure because like.
Is there any words often share to the community because it's Pride Month, and what would you want us to take away from the pseudo community as I create a but happy Pride. So what would you want us to say? Like what would you want to say to them?
Happy. Molweni happy. So I think okay now I don't know I just keep thinking of Lando when you were touching base on Ulwaluko.
Yeah.
But I guess we're past that now, so it's another conversation for another day. So, but at the end of the I feel bad, I feel So I think at the end of it, it's tough. It's never going to be an easy task. But our dangerous like perpetuation of it is that we are not honest with ourselves as queer people. We're not honest with speaking amongst ourselves with things as little as not as little, but like mental health, healthcare, as your channel is going around about, and those sort of things. I think that we really owe ourselves an honest conversation. We owe ourselves a very we need freedom, and within those little bit of freedoms with the internal freedoms that we really need to fully be able to express ourselves and respect ourselves within the society that's been trying to label us and box us.
Okay, so like firstly for me, without even trying to be edgy or anything, it's a matter of I feel like the entire queer, what is it, Pride Month, whatever,
Pride Month,
it's just all a farce to me because we can't be celebrating in South Africa from February, March, we're not doing anything, June again, and then October again. It's literally a time, yes, we're just putting up posters, the colors, and then they literally just go groove. But we never have these honest conversations happening to show that it's Pride, it's us, you're listening. And that's the problem that I have.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no one knows it all.
And that goes to how I'm going to end this video. So I'm going to say, Bana. So what was I going to say? Since my message to the queers and everyone who watches the community that we've built on this channel, I'd like us to take pride seriously, in the sense that it's more than just groove, it's more than just celebrations. Like we are different people within the LGBTQI spectrum. So let's all try to spend some time to try and learn one another and try to be there for one another, because it's, as we said, it's a lonely experience. If now someone is still grappling with their sexuality, that's kubo, try to educate them as much as possible and show them how. But let's try to educate ourselves as much as possible when it comes to everything. Let's have more serious conversation during this Pride Month versus just having it as a gimmick banner. Oh, celebrating gay pride, celebrating gay, but it's LGBTQI pride, I assume. So asizokwazi ibe celebration yodwa without doing the work and sitting down and singing, because I feel like in the queer community sometimes it's singing. Really, so for the first time I singing, do you know what I mean? So for the first time I singing, man, guys, this is the month to sing. But thank you so much for tuning in. It was groove. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you next week when we do another video. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and suggest a name downstairs, with comment section. But otherwise, just binge on the other videos. Thank you so much. Bye.